Welcome everybody to today's training. As everybody's climbing on, we got a lot of people here today and for this training. And today I'm going to show you how to generate buyer leads. I'm going to go through rapid fire, several different strategies to do this. So if you have your pen and paper, get ready, use it. If you don't have a pen and paper, do me a favor and get it. I'm not going to waste your time today. Hopefully I never waste your time, man. I value y'all's time. You know what I'm saying? This is about working on the business. You know, after this, you can go back and work in the business, but you know, this hour every Tuesday that we spend, I look at this like it's working on, you know, you got working in it and working on it. And differentiating those two are how you grow as a leader in your business to the level of which you can work on the business. That's what I want to do. I want to inspire you, coach you, train you, equip you with models, knowledge, hopefully skills that you can get to a place where you work on it. You know, so many times in business, we're having to work in it and we neglect the on part. So working on it. And I always tell people, you know, and working on it, oftentimes it's done when the sun is down. You know, it's not out there during the day, you know, but so I'm going to give you several things that you can implement. By the word, keyword is implementation. In implementing the things I'm going to cover today, it's probably going to be implemented when the sun is down. So like time block for that. And I'm going to give you several strategies on how to generate buyer leads today, how to convert buyer leads. So some will resonate, some may not. And I want you to pick what rings true, something that you're interested in, and let's implement it. So today, my goal is for you to take 4 things that I'm going to give you and implement. Implementation is the key to success. As I say before, when we go to these trainings and we come to them, we're going to learn. Learning does no good. What does good is applying what we learn. Do y'all agree with that, by the way? It's all about action, baby. It's all about implementation. In fact, it's about imperfect action. It doesn't even have to be perfect. We just got to do it. So with that, who we got here? We got Matthew's going to be letting everybody in. If y'all have any questions, I don't know if I'll have time today because I am probably going to take up the full hour of giving you everything on how to generate buyer leads. And I do have some handouts I will give you as well today. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen. Let me just give me 1 second here. Let me find my screen. A little slideshow. There we go. Share. Let's see. Oh, can y'all see that? Pretty simple. Generating buyer leads. All right, here we go. By the way, buyer leads are not I don't want to say not my favorite topic. You know, it is my favorite topic, listings. You know, that's why I wrote the book Listing Boss. Like it's about listings. It's about having signs in the ground, but you know, that's going to give you the freedom. But what we also have to have a buyer side of the business. Listings generate buyer leads. As we grow a team, we need to generate leads. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to hopefully give you some systems that you can implement. So if you have a team and you have buyer's agents, then we need to have systems that the buyer's agents that they follow. And if you don't have a team, there's going to be several strategies that you can implement that will help you bring in buyer's agents that you can leverage that. I'll give you a disclaimer. I have never worked a buyer lead in my life. I always had buyer's agents, but I generated a ton of buyer leads. I didn't work buyer leads because I focused on listings and because the listings are what I wanted to do to generate the buyer leads. So, and today, as I give it to you, here we go. I'm going to show you how to generate buyer leads. In fact, 50 ways to do so. I'm not going to cover all 50, but I am going to give you a handout that has all 50 in it. I'm just going to cover some of my favorite ones. I'm going to show you how to build a high net income buyer operation. Anything we do, we want high net income. We don't want to spend a fortune. So I'm not going to give you a bunch of strategies today that's going to force you to go out and spend a bunch of money to do it. I don't believe you have to do that. I'm going to show you how to create your own leads at will. That's going to give you the freedom. We need to be able to know how to fish, because that's what we're doing. We're fishing for leads, and we need to know how to do that. Otherwise, we got to pay people who do know how to do that. How to create opportunity out of thin air. Anything I'm going to give you today can be implemented and can help you generate leads immediately. I like that strategy. I don't like getting ready to get ready, and I'm going to help you close a lot more buyers. And with that, by the way, I'll give you something. A good script right now to get your buyers and sellers off the fence is this script. All indicators are pointing to interest rates could potentially be rising in the first quarter of this year. So it's paramount that we get our buyers to buy now and we get our sellers to list now, because buyers are buying. They're going to be buying before those interest rates go up. So as you're having conversations with your sellers, use that to create urgency in the marketplace, and that will help you close more buyers. So with that, we got to realize, there we go. Lead generation is the name of the game. The more you can look at yourself as a lead generator, lead converter, the more success you're going to have. I mean, real estate, the backbone of it is in lead generation. So we need systems, processes that generate and convert leads. And today you're going to get the buyer generation. And I'm going to give you a download. I'm going to put this in the chat. Don't look at it right now just because I'm going to cover this stuff. I don't want to distract you, but I am going to put this in the chat. This is a handout that has 50 ways to generate buyer leads. But like I said, don't you be looking at it yet, okay? Actually, give me 1 second, find it here. Sometimes in these trainings, we got to like do multiple things at once. There we go. There we go. It's in the chat. And I'll put that in there too towards the end. All right, lead generation. Here's your choice. You either pay somebody else for leads or you generate your own. Like I said, I'm not opposed to paying people for leads, especially good quality leads, but being able to generate leads on your own is going to give you the freedom that you're looking for. And I'm going to put more focus today on generating leads yourself. I'll show you some ways that you can pay people for leads, but really it's about acquiring buyer leads yourself. And there's 3 ways to do it. You can, 1, prospect and hunt for buyer leads. It's where you grind it out. It's where you just go out there, you pick up the phone, you knock the door, you hit the pavement, you do it the old school way. 2 is branding and self-promotion. This is a slower process where over time you build a brand, you become known for something, so you attract people. It's more self-promotion. I'm not as big of a fan of self-promotion and branding as I am direct response marketing. Direct response marketing is the area of which you want to grow in your knowledge of marketing. It's what's going to allow you to generate leads faster, spend less money, and get more success, have more success with this niche. So out of those 3 ways, the clicker's not working. I want to explain the difference in branding and direct response, because this is important. This is marketing. I know I've done training where we talk about marketing, what it is, and everybody has an idea of what marketing is to them. I look at it like this. There's 2 types of marketing. You have branded marketing and direct response. Here's what branded is. It sells a product or service in the future. It creates awareness and desire, creates potential future sales. It's measured in dollars that you spend, creates a feeling or awareness, uses a slogan or a tagline, equity position, instructs future behavior. Most of the industry attempts, a keyword attempts, to brand themselves. And I have a theory. Realtors aren't Coca-Cola. You don't have the money to go out there and brand yourself. And so what we want to do is we want to leverage as much direct response. It's what's going to allow us to get results now. When we do something and we spend money in marketing, we want results right now. I don't want results in 6 months. So we want to leverage direct response to get people to respond immediately. As soon as a message goes out, a direct mail piece goes out, we want them to pick up the phone and reach out to us, because this sells a product or service right now. It creates immediate revenue, creates immediate incoming leads. It's measured in dollars that you made. It creates an impulse typically uses some sort of headline call to action to get their attention. So you're going to see a lot of these examples, and everything I do, it has a headline, it has a call to action, and that's what direct response is. Let me tell you something. When you learn this, it will change your life, because oftentimes people don't do direct response because they just don't know. You know, like if I look at a billboard or a postcard, 9.9 out of 10 times it's branded. Rarely is it leveraging direct response. But I'm going to give you several examples of how to do that and leverage direct response. But I want you to know what it is. Next is you could create a buyer website solution. I know at EXP we have KV Core. It's a great buyer website. It generates leads. You can pay for online traffic, and you're going to have those leads come in. It even comes with a contact management platform to where it'll manage those contacts. And there's many of you that do this and with success. I think having a website and driving traffic to the website, I think is one way to do it. I think it's important to have a website. The thing is do we have to spend money to drive traffic to the website? Here's what I'll tell you. You can do that, but before you spend money, you got to have the system in place. And I'm going to help you with this today. You can go out and buy leads right now from third-party lead providers, Zillow, Realtor.com. You can go buy. I mean, I talked to an agent last week. She's acquiring Zillow territories. She is spending $5,000 to $10,000 on one particular area of Zillow leads. She becomes an exclusive agent. Like, it's a great thing, but keyword, she's spending $5,000 to $10,000 a month for that. And I'm not going to tell you to go out and spend $5,000 to $10,000 a month because I'm going to show you how to generate your leads. But I'm also not saying you don't do that, because the return obviously should be greater than that. So a buyer website, ad spend, driving traffic. This, if you're new, I'm not going to tell you to start here. I'm not going to, because it can get, that's where it gets pretty expensive. We want to have skills before we start buying leads. We want to have a system in place before we start buying leads. Because oftentimes it's not a lead problem, it's a conversion problem. It's not so much leads, it's the conversion. It's the system of which converts and nurtures those leads. And I know I spelled realtor wrong right there, didn't I? Right. What we want to do is so forgive me on that. You may find some errors and mistakes, but that's okay. We're going for imperfect action here, folks. All right, keep trucking. There we go. Here's what this does though. In your online conversion rates, here's typically what you see when you're buying leads or generating leads through a website. Less than 2% conversion rate on average. So like, it's not that high, it's 2%. You know, and I think most of you would agree if you're doing that, you know, as you can see here, most people have less than 2% conversion rate. Some people get 2 to 4, some of them get up to 7. Rarely do people get more than that though. So like, you want to set your expectations. You don't want to, that's why you need a system in a long-term nurture, because if we're paying for those leads, if less than 2% convert, well, you do the math, right? We have to generate a lot of buyer leads, a lot of fluff, a lot of contacts. And so if we can do that, but we also want to leverage direct response to get a better response. But here's the thing, before you spend big money, master converting buyer leads before you do it. Do what I'm going to share with you today before you go out and spend any type of money on buying leads. Have an automated follow-up process. Every lead needs to be on a campaign. And that's the case regardless. Every contact in your database needs to be on a campaign that is keeping you in contact with them. If you don't have leads on campaigns, then that's the first problem that we have to fix. Because we can generate leads, but we're not going to convert them if we don't have a system like that. And a team of buyer agents to handle the buyers. Like, what if you go out and you generate tons of leads, you know, being able to handle them all on your own. So what I would do as you grow is be looking for buyer agents to bring into your team. It's never too soon to bring in buyer agents. So being able to have conversations with people, to be able to work with your buyers. Like, I'd be running ads like in Indeed, looking for buyers agents to join your team. if it's not a fit for you to join the team, then they can join your EXP organization, right? It'd be a good way for you to as well, get in front of agents. So like, it's never too soon to start looking for these people. And most people, what they do is they wait too long where it's too late and they have a bunch of dead leads. So before you spend big money, I want you to make sure you have these 3 things. Email signatures. Simple way to generate buyer leads. I don't know how many emails you send every day, but I would encourage you to have some sort of call to action in your email signature. It can be for sellers, but today we're talking buyers, and I'm going to offer them something. I'm trying to bring value to them. So I would put something like this: receive a free list of the best real estate deals in Dallas. Text deals too, right? Doesn't cost me anything. It's in my email signature. I send tons of emails every day. So we want to sprinkle things throughout our communication and what we're already doing so we can generate buyer leads. And most of the time, it's something as simple as that, simply making an offer. So here's my question. What offers do you have to offer buyers in your market? Like, what are your offers? What value can you bring to a buyer in your market of something they would want? I mean, if somebody's buying a house, let's say I'm in Dallas, and they're buying a house, a free list of the best deals. I mean, who doesn't want that? Right. So being able to have that is going to generate us buyer leads. Simple email signature. There we go. Active listings is a great way to generate buyer leads. Here's the thing on active listings. This is my favorite way to generate buyer leads. Signs in the ground, baby. Because signs in the ground mean this: every sign you have should generate 2.7 buyer leads, from the sign calls to the online marketing that's out there. For even when a listing goes active, like when a listing goes active, it is simulcasted through all of the other websites. There's hundreds and hundreds of websites that active listing is going to be on. So as buyers, they're out there looking on websites. The more listings you have, the more buyers you're going to be in front of. And this is an art, by the way, in being able to use your active listings to generate buyer leads. Like, how would you do it? I'll give you an example. Here's one way I did it. This is when you pull up to one of my listings, it was a party. It's a party, man. Signs everywhere, call to actions, giving out a property flyer loaded with call to actions, 24-hour recorded information hotline sign, call to action on my actual sign. The purpose of a for sale sign is to generate buyer leads. True? So don't miss that opportunity. What is if a buyer pulls up in front of your sign, is there a way for them to receive information without calling the phone number? And I love the call capture numbers because it's a great way to do it. So for example, when somebody calls that phone number and they put in the extension, I know what listing they're calling off of. There's a pre-recorded message that they're listening to. So now I have that buyer's cell phone number. Next step, follow up, right? But we got to generate leads. So to generate leads, we need to leverage some technology. Like this is a call capture hotline that works well in generating and capturing buyers' information. But what we want to do is we want to be able to have as many opportunities for that buyer to receive the information. And nobody does this, by the way. I mean, if I drive outside my house and I drive down there's not many listings out there right now, but if there were, I would tell you there few agents use their signs to generate buyer leads. They simply expect the buyer to call the sign. So whether it be texting or calling, we want to leverage that on our current active listings. Our sphere of influence. I want you to call everybody in your sphere of influence. Susie, how are you? It's Haas. I just want to reach out to you and let you know what's going on in the real estate market. All indicators are pointing towards interest rates going up here in the near future. And I was curious, have you thought about purchasing a property? Have you thought about selling your property? No. Well, who do you know that is thinking about buying? Who do you know that is thinking about selling? The period from right now to March is going to be crucial for you to have these engagements and conversation, because Anytime you turn on the news, I mean, I've watched it twice in the last 2 days, big segments of people and people that know saying interest rates are going to be going up. So we want to have that conversation with as many people as we can. Every day, I want to tell buyers that. Every day, I want to tell sellers that, because that's going to create the urgency that we need for those people. So in your database, your sphere of influence, these are people that know you, like you, trust you. These are your past clients, your friends, your family. Time block every day to have these conversations with them, because the best buyer lead generated is a referral. The best buyer lead is somebody that knows us and they want to buy. And so if you're looking for ways to engage your database, you want to always have a reason to call them. You want to always have a reason to reach out to them. What's the reason right now? It's the market's going to change. Interest rates are potentially going to be rising. So we're looking for buyers to buy now. Here's the thing, enthusiasm will get their attention. So be enthusiastic about what the market's doing, but you've got to have these conversations. I'm going to tell you this. I want you to call 5 people in your database every single day. So call 5 every day. So 5 a day in your database, reaching out, touching, asking questions, but we don't stop with them. We say, who do you know? Any close friends, family members, coworkers do you know of that is in the market to buy or invest in the local real estate market? Well, nobody comes to mind. Okay, like nobody that, no neighbors. You haven't had any conversations that with buy? No, I haven't. But I'm gonna engage them because we're trying to solve a problem. The problem is the market's going to change, and we're looking for both buyers and sellers to take advantage of it. Using print media is a good way to generate buyer leads. This is actually an example of an ad that I ran. In my market, I sold my real estate business for you folks that don't know me, but I had the back page of the Homes and Land magazine, the real estate book. And I'm showing you this as an example because I'm a marketer. And this ad right here is this is a marketer's ad. It's loaded with call to actions. It's loaded with ways to engage in a buyer to get them to respond. The only reason I run this ad is for 2 reasons. Number one, it's a listing tool. So everything I'm going to share with you is also a listing tool, meaning when I'm on a listing appointment, I'm showing the seller what I do to generate buyer leads. And that's huge. So not only is it a listing tool to help me convert more sellers because they see what I can do to generate buyer leads and what I'm going to do to market their property, but it's also a way to generate the leads, right? So this right here is an example of a branded ad. Like you see my face on the ad, you see my logo, you see a headline, and you see multiple call to actions throughout this ad. Another example would be a non-branded. So here's what I would do. 1 month, I would do branded. Next month, I would do non-branded, branded, non-branded, branded, non-branded. And I would measure those results. Which one do you think got the best response? Anyone?
Branded?
Non-branded.
Non-branded. Non-branded versus branded. You always generate a lot more leads with non-branded. Because listen, they don't care about me. They don't care about that. Like that's more, I almost, I don't want to say for ego, but oftentimes branded marketing is around ego. And as a marketer, you want to eliminate your ego. Like I have no ego in the game, y'all. I don't care if my name or face is on it. All I want is people calling me. So a non-branded approach is always going to generate you way more leads than a branded approach. So in this example, you see the headline, but it doesn't have my face on it. And that's an example. Now, am I telling you to go out and get the back page of Homes and Land and real estate book? Not necessarily, maybe depending on the market, but this could be a postcard. It could be a property flyer. In fact, this was also the back page of my property flyers. So I would have the front page on a property flyer. I would have my active listing with all the information on it. The back page says, oh, we have others. Are you interested? And I would advertise all my other listings. So you may be somebody that doesn't have a lot of listings. Let's say you have 1 listing. I would leverage your competitors' listings. So just because you don't have the listing doesn't mean that your competitors won't let you market their properties. I mean, think about it. If you're with EXP and there's another EXP agent and you're like, hey, I'm putting together a marketing piece. I'm looking for listings to generate buyers for. Do you mind if I use your listing on this piece? And everybody usually says yes, by the way. Those are all mine, but you can borrow your competitors' listings, obviously with permission. I want to zoom in on these direct response ads that you saw. This is a great way to generate leads. In fact, I used to run these ads in the classified ads section of a newspaper, online, on websites. I didn't want my face on there. I wanted the offer. Remember, the offer. They're not going to call me just because I'm in real estate. They're going to call me because they want the list of builder closeouts or the distressed sales or the best area deals. So having direct response ads is not only going to give the buyer, it's going to create the interest, right? So the buyer says, man, I want a free list of bank-owned, corporate-owned properties. And this is a great example of direct response, a direct response ad, what you're looking at. And that can be on the email signature. It can be on a website. It can be anywhere, but we need to make more offers with what the buyers want. Next, Facebook Live show. This is something that I think all agents need to look at closely. And here's why. It's not so much a Facebook Live show, but it's a show. I want you to grow into presenting one-to-many, right? Because when you can present one-to-many, you're able to reach more people. You're able to be positioned as the expert. You're able to grow an audience and a list much faster. And you're able to build relationships by inviting guests on it. And that's the whole purpose of having a show. And it can be a podcast even, but have something. And this isn't, let me back up. This may not or may not be for you, but I would like all of you to look at how you can use a platform to reach more people. And that's going to allow you to do many things. By the way, this is also a listing tool. Mr. Seller, I have a podcast that has hundreds of buyers listen to my podcast every single week where we talk about the local real estate market. It's in our local podcast is what people moving in from out of the area because they don't know the area and they attend and they watch. And so that allows us to not only generate buyer leads around the country, but also relationships and referral partners. You see, everything we do is to not only generate more buyer leads, but we want to also use it as a listing tool because we want to convert more listings. By the way, none of your competitors are going on a listing appointment talking about the podcast audience that they built. Like it's a way to separate you from everybody else. And I put this here. So if you text for anybody that wants to do this and wants coaching around it and you want some more support, I have some resources that can help you with that. You can text podcast to that phone number right there for anybody. And this is for dead serious people, like people that have a burning desire to start a show, to present one-to-many. Maybe they don't know how to do it. And I will coach you and I will help you for anybody that's dead serious about it. Okay. But look at your platform. What can you do? Like you could go live for 5 minutes every Friday talking about the local real estate market. And if it scares you, that's what it's supposed to do. But on the other side of that fear is results and it's growth. And if you can carry a show for 5 minutes to 30 minutes, you can convert. You can convert every listing appointment. It's really having the words to say and being able to fill the airwaves with your expertise in real estate. I love that. I love that because that's also a lot of fun. Old expireds is a great way to generate buyer leads. If you go back in your MLS, if you have a lead provider and you go back 3 to 12 months, have these folks sold their home yet? Not only is this a way to generate buyer leads, a lot of these folks will list with you too. Nobody's calling them. Nobody's marketing to them. I would call in, let's say if somebody expired 12 months ago, I would call them and say, hey, Susie, It's Haas. I see your property was on the market 12 months ago. Do you still want to sell that house? No, we decided to take it off the market. I understand, but if we had a buyer, would you want to sell it? I mean, maybe. We just, we just things change, and we just took it off the market. So what I would do then is I would say, Mr. Seller, because if you're looking to sell this property, right now is the time. And here's the reason why, because buyers are buying right now. Today is the best real estate market in the history of real estate in this area. And you can get more money today for your property than you ever could before. Is that true in your market, by the way? Can I just say, is that true in your real estate market? Is it as good as it's ever been, where a seller can get more money out of the property today than ever before?
Yes, in Denver, Colorado it is.
I heard about that. It's true.
Yeah, for buyer.
Yeah.
Staten Island, New York, definitely.
Everywhere, y'all.
Still very true in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
Ooh, I love me some Coeur d'Alene. It's beautiful up there. Yes. So let's tell the sellers that it's crazy for that seller not to sell the house right now. If there's an inkling that they want to sell, right now is the time. This is our window. Remember, we got a 90-day window before things change. Just tell yourself that. We want to use that to create urgency. Not only old expireds, but old FSBOs. Pull a list of those folks that wanted to sell their home 6 months ago, still haven't done it. You have the same conversation with them. And if there is a chance that they want to sell, then they're going to list it now, because now's the time to do it. And the best part is there's no competition. It's the old blue ocean strategy. Nobody else is marketing to them. Home buyer seminars. I love me some home buyer seminars because it makes you present one to many, makes you the expert, gives you a place to partner with your local partners, like your lenders and your insurance people, and you're being able to bring people and resources together to put together a home buying seminar for local buyers. Now, here's what happens. You're not going to have 100 people in a home buying seminar. I mean, maybe you will, but like, it's not like you have dozens of people show up for these. But what happens is you may have 10 people show up, but what happens is the conversion rate is extremely high for anybody that shows up to a home buying seminar, to where they're going to come learn, whether it be a first-time home buyer, maybe they're downsizing, whatever the seminar is about. But think about the conversion rate. It's worth your time. So maybe what I would do if I were coaching you, and this was something you wanted to do, I would find local partners to help you with it. I would make it zero cost and get other people to pay for, if you're doing lunch and learns or anything like that, you get your sponsors to pay for it, and you do it consistently. Maybe it's once a quarter. Maybe you're so good at it, you can do it once a month. Maybe you're so good at it, you can do it virtually every week around the country. You know why I wanted you to do a podcast or seminar like this? Because you can't do that without, you can't present one to many. And I believe that one skill of being able to go from one-to-one to one-to-many is paramount in the success of a future sales superstar. As you're going to see, even videos one-to-many, right? Hey, Susie, it's hot, right? That's a one-to-many approach too. So being comfortable, whether it be on video, whether it be in front of people, being able to fill the airwaves with value and expertise. You with me? I see Crystal shaking her head. She's already going to be starting a podcast. You go, Crystal. Do that seminar. Partner with your people. And here's the deal. Even if you're terrified, I want you to do it. If you're an EXP and you're looking to attract agents, all of these things I'm giving you are going to help you attract agents. Not only do you a home buyer seminar, you do an agent attraction seminar, right? But being able to do an agent attraction seminar and be able to convert, you need to be able to present one to many. Offering a free list of homes. This is great. So like, this is a Facebook ad I created for a client. He's up in Oregon. And I put together an ad and I said, find the best of the best deals in Lane County. Free list, topareadeals.com. No matter where you're buying or investing, this list could save you thousands. And in this case, we ran Facebook ads to it and generated tons of leads. And that took them right to a landing page. So if you're doing any type of like Facebook ads, you have this. You have the ad that gets them to click. Okay. Once they click, they want the thing, it takes them to a landing page. So in this example, the landing page is very simple. I don't want them to be distracted. I'm not sending them directly to my main website because I want them to do one thing. It's to click here to download now. That's why you don't see a bunch of other resources on this page, because people have the attention span of a flea. And if we let them get distracted, they will. So in this approach, it's a micro commitment. We want them to click, and we want them to fill out the form. So think about that when you're putting your marketing hat on. What does that process look like? And also pay attention, in your own right, like look what other people are doing. As I'm showing you, this is a model that works. Next is boosting listings. I gave this right here. This gentleman, Mike, I've coached him for like 12 years. And I gave him a script to go on this listing appointment in Garnett Valley and get the listing. I said, tell him this, say, Mr. Seller, by tomorrow, this property is going to be exposed by tens of thousands of buyers and getting attention immediately based on our online marketing strategy. Part of our online marketing strategy is we boost listings. So as soon as we take this thing, we're going to put it out there. We're going to create a page and we're going to put it out there for all of the world to see. And again, it's a listing tool. So as you're seeing these strategies, think of how you could use this to list more homes, because this is what sellers want. They want to see how you're going to go out there and generate the buyer leads, and being able to show them in real time on the appointment is going to help you convert them. A free book or ebook. One of the best ways to not only position you as the expert, but it's also a way to be able to generate leads. I believe everybody should have a book. I do. I just think everybody should write a book. Everybody should have a book. Everybody needs to be able to have so many skills and so many words to say that they can put together a book. Now, if you don't know how to write a book, I can write a book for you, but being able to have that is a huge asset. Like my book, Listing Boss, is consistently top 10 on Amazon. I wrote it, a few years back. Like, this book doesn't go away. It is going to be around forever. When I'm dead and gone, this book is still going to be out there. It still applies. It's still applicable. So maybe your goal is to write a book. Here's how you write a book. You take your show and you transcribe it and you turn the audio into written words. So why would you do a podcast? The answer is to write a book. It's so we can repurpose that content into not only a written book, a chapter in a book, but a blog post, all of those things. So think of one of the things that will change your life is repurposing your content. So even that home buyer seminar, everything you do is to repurpose it into written content. If you need help with this, you could also reach out to me. We write books for people. I've done this for the last 7 years, where like this gal, she didn't write that book. We did. We have a book I wrote called Moving Forward. I put her information on it, and so she can go out there and use it. So she can take it on listing appointments. She can create landing pages like this. There you go. Look at this guy. What we got? You got some books there? Good. That's right. Does it help you? If anything, it makes you more confident, right? Going into the appointment, because it's going to position you as that authority. I just think it makes everything easier. That's why. And I'm not saying if you're brand new, you need to go write a book, but I'm saying find a way to get one. Find a way to use written content to position you as the expert. Website retargeting. Here's what this is. Every website that you have, you should be able to retarget. So like, you ever go to a website and then all of a sudden you see ads everywhere from that website? Like, let's say you Googled pink shoes. And now you go there and you Google, and then next time you go into Facebook, you see pink shoes everywhere, right? That's what retargeting is. So like, you want to be able to have people seeing you everywhere, so you're omnipresent. So as soon as they ever hit your webpage, they're going to see you on Facebook, they're going to see you on Google, they're going to see you in all those places. And that's what retargeting is. So when the visitor hits your website, they leave your website to go to another place, even your competitors, they see your ad on the website, and that visitor responds to your ad and returns to your website. By the way, what's that ad do you think that they're seeing? It's a call to action. It's a direct response ad. It's something they offer them. It may be a free list of homes. It may be your book. It may be whatever the thing is that you're offering. I'll give you an example. I got this message from my cousin, lives up in Missouri. When this is a little bit ago, take a look at this. She sends me this text and says, "You are on the New York Post article." And I'm going to play this because look. So she's on the New York Post. She's scrolling and there's me. That's my ad. Then she laughs. She thinks it's funny, right? Because that's retargeting. And this is important. Anytime you have a web page, you're driving traffic, you want them to see you everywhere. And retargeting will help you be omnipresent. Like, one of the best people at that's Grant Cardone. Like everything I see online, I see Grant Cardone. I was watching a YouTube video yesterday, 30 seconds in, here comes Grant Cardone, right? Like, why? Because he leverages retargeting that way. And so if you're driving a lot of traffic, that's something that's very, very important to be able to do. And it's big and easy too. It will help you. Handwritten notes. I want you to write 5 handwritten notes every day. Who do we write them to? Well, we already talked about our database, our sphere of influence, but what about all the buyer leads we're generating? There's few things that will give you a return like a handwritten note. So I know it sounds silly, but there's because handwritten notes are something that have been around forever, but nobody ever sends them. When's the last time you received a handwritten note? How did it make you feel? Because I received several. In fact, I have a box I call my memory box. My wife laughs at me because now I have 5 of them because they're so full, but I save everything. Every handwritten note I've ever received, I saved it. It's in a memory box in my closet, and I go in there, I can show you tons of them. Why would I save a handwritten note? Because there's kind words in those things. It touched me, and I'm never just going to throw a handwritten note away. That's not, not me. I keep those things, but that's why I'm a big fan of that. And getting in the habit of writing 5 of those a day will make you a lot of money. It'll help you build some quality relationships, and it'll help you stand out and reach more people.
Hey, Hoss, I want to just jump in for a second, if you don't mind.
Yes.
It's Claudianne.
Claudianne, what's up?
I'm here. So here are my little handwritten notes. And let me tell you, just a champion around what you just said. I have an agent, several, but this one in particular, she hasn't been licensed for maybe more than 5 months. And she has done RSP, which is a mailer system. And when they respond to her, she sends a note card. I teach her hand print everything, handwrite, and then she puts a $5 gift card, and it's landed her $3.3 million worth of listings in less than 5 months in New York, in the middle of the cold. Like, she's going on listing appointments in 5-degree weather. And so I just want to champion behind what you just said, and know that, just to tell people that it really does work.
No, thank you for that, Claudia. And you would know. Listen, she's spot on. And it's the reason you would write 5 a day is so it creates a habit. That's what we're looking for. We want the habit. Well, it's more powerful than writing a handwritten note to somebody, writing them a second handwritten note. That's even more powerful. What's more powerful than that? Writing 3 of them, where over a period of time, they keep getting them. And so, like, you don't just send one and it's over. That's why you want to write 5 a day, because here's what it does. It makes you think about, who else can I write one to? Who else needs one? And the magic that happens from that. Craigslist has been around forever. It's zero cost. You can advertise your listings. I know that they have different guidelines and stuff that you got to follow, but you want to run it as a system. Like anything, you want to run it as a system. We don't want to just run one ad. We want to run one ad a day or one ad a week. Whatever your system is, we want to run it as a system. Craigslist doesn't cost anything. Free area reports, being able to bring value to people in your local market is huge. So offering free area reports like a CMA, a comparative overview, or nearby establishments, cost of living, community facts. All of these are different types of reports that you can provide locally. Because if somebody's buying, I mean, they want to know what the school, what about a school report on local schools? These are things that that will help you not only bring value, but it'll give you a call to action. It'll give you something to offer the buyer. Lead capture page. I want to show you an example of this. As you can see, if I'm offering a report, it's going to be a simple landing page that doesn't have a bunch of distractions on it, that gets them all of the information instantly. I don't want to have to fulfill it. I want to make it automated. Next is a buyer specialist. So I told you before, you want to have buyer specialists because, especially now, y'all, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, going around showing buyers and then competing on 17 different offers, it's a lot more work working buyers than even listings. So like, be able to have buyer specialists on your team. This is a picture of my first team. I told you I've never worked a buyer in my life. That's because I had my team. They worked all the buyers. And this is, I had what it was, I would go out every day and take a listing. And on that listing, I would put out the party in the front. I would have all my call to actions. The purpose is to generate leads for this team. And I had a money phone, and the money phone was one phone number that was on all of my buyer stuff. So if I was advertising in a magazine, or on my for sale sign, on my website, anytime I know that lead is going to be a buyer when they call, I want it to have one phone number. So you may think about having a buyer specific phone number that, you know, when somebody calls, it had to be a buyer lead. And so I had a money phone. It was a cell phone that had every sign call went to this phone. The rule the money phone was I would give it to my team, one team member, and you had to answer it. So when the money phone rang, you had to answer it. If it rang at 3 o'clock in the morning, they had to answer it. Like, I didn't care. They had to answer it because it allows me not only, and I always knew if they did, because I could track their calls, but it motivates buyer specialists. Like, I would reward people. Like, here's the money phone this week. You got it there, Mike. And he would take it and he would get all the buyer leads. So the only way you could do that is if you ran it as a system. You had one phone number that had that all buyers were calling, and that phone belonged to your buyer's agents. Today, you wouldn't need your phone. You could even set up like, you know, things like Ring Central phone systems like that. You can forward and you can make it a lot easier. But back then I had my own cell phone that's how I did it. But it's super easy to do. We want to know this. When a buyer calls, we want to know that they're a buyer. And a great way to do that is have a specific phone number for them. Call capture, text capture. I love this stuff because a lot of times people don't want to talk to somebody, but they want the information. If I'm advertising a listing, I'm going to offer instant photos and details. They can text, let's say, home 101 to a phone number. Why is home 101 important? Because I know home 101 is 123 Main Street. So I know home 102 is 125 Crown Hill Drive. And so it's specific. So we can track every single call, every single text that any property gets. Here's another example of a call and text capture. I'm going to speed up too, because I got more to cover and I got about 10 minutes here, folks. So the call and text capture is huge because people text. They prefer texting. And I'm going to offer them whatever they prefer. I've also used this. I'm love for sale by owners. And I would offer a sign to the FSBOs, and I would set it up for them and I would give it to them. And this would, not only would it generate buyer leads for the FSBO, but I would also get the information. So being able to bring value to a FSBO and generate buyer leads is another great way. So if you're marketing to FSBOs, what can you do to generate more buyer leads through that FSBO? Bringing value to them, leveraging technology. Personalized video. I want you all to do more personalized video in your follow-up. I am a colossal fan of video, specifically direct to camera, spontaneous, like something like this. If you'd hold up your phone as soon as we generate a lead. Hey, Shirley, thanks so much for going to planovalues.com, requesting a neighborhood report. I hope you found the information that you're looking for. Hey, at least hopefully you got a good start. What I'm going to do is this. I'm going to send you an email with some valuable information that will help you with the next steps. Again, I just want to put a face to the name. I'm Haas Pratt. I'm here to help you, here to serve you, and I'm looking forward to connecting with you. Go ahead, check your email. If you have any questions, just let me know, Shirley. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you soon. Send. Do that and see what happens. But we want to offer them something of value. If you're following up with leads, I don't care if it's buyer or seller, you want to leverage personalized videos. I love BombBomb. Does anybody know, y'all know what BombBomb is? Some of y'all? BombBomb, what it does, and you can see this. Yes, it's huge, isn't it? And I prefer to respond to emails through video email because I'm not a very good typer because I'm dyslexic and I would type like one sentence. But if I do video, not only do they watch it again and again. They get my energy, they get my enthusiasm, right? I'm able to communicate better through video email, and this is through anybody, through your team, through your leads, but BombBomb is the best service to go out there and do that. I've had it for years and it works. It gives you positioning power whenever you use this, because here's what happens. It's kind of like a note card. When somebody gets a video email, they're blown away. When you send a video email to your clients, watch what happens. I promise you, they've never received a video email in their life. And so as you, the agent, what are they going to think of you whenever they get that video email and they're like, look at this, look at this. Have you ever seen anything like that? Like, that's what we're going for. Again, listing tools. We want to always be separating ourselves from everybody else, and leveraging video email will help you do that. Email triggers. I love it. Right here, right now, you can go to your database and send one email. Here's what I'd like for you to do this week. Send an email to every buyer lead that you have in your database. And here's what it is. It's a trigger. So instead of an email saying, here, the real estate market report for January is, and nothing, I'm talking about a straight direct response. This is a direct response one. You interested? Question mark. Why does it say you interested? Question mark. Because the purpose of a subject line in an email is to get them to open it. That's step one. We need them to open the email. So be intentional with what the subject line is. And think about the subject line as a way you want it to create interest. Usually it's not very long. It's really short and it's personal. And it's like, you interested? Question mark. Who's not going to open that? Everybody. So then they open it. I came across a smoking deal on a home. If you want more, let me know and I'll send you the details. So if you sent that to 1,000 buyers right now today, how many people would respond? Well, Haas, what about the smoking deal? What is it? Go find one. Create a reason, create the opportunity out of thin air. Find a smoking deal that you can send an email to right here. Give them a list of several smoking deals. Now, how do you find a smoking deal? Maybe you go to your MLS, you look at, you search in price per square foot, right? You set up a simple search. Here's what I wouldn't do. Don't overthink it. You know what's the most important thing is they respond. Once they respond, I can have a conversation with them and fulfill it. Here's another example. If you want to know the best of the best area, if you want to know the best of the best area deals, let me know. The best deals report just released and I can send it to you. If you're interested, let me know. Create a trigger email to send to your database this week. Something and it can be just exactly like I gave you, but something of offer that gets them to respond. Here's why. I love texting because 90% of sales leads said that they prefer to be texted. Think about it. If your phone rang today and you didn't know the number, would you answer it? I'm just going to guess, probably not. And then let's say if you texted them, if they texted you, would you reply? Well, that answer is depending on what the text said, but probably. So similar to a text is the subject line in an email. We want them to see it. We want to create interest because 99% of texts are read and have an average response time of 90 seconds. Here's direct response marketing. You texting your leads today, something of value, and immediately within 90 seconds, they reply, sure, I am interested. Right? Now we have people to talk to. Now we have leads. So how do we do it? Simply created it. Send a text to leads, bring value. It's always a short message. and it's open-ended. Like I'm not going to put in there, it's not a digital business card. It's simply to create interest. And that's what we want to do. We want to leverage both text and email triggers. I know I'm talking fast. That's because I got a lot to cover here, folks. I told you, I warned you up front what today was going to be like, rapid fire. Bandit signs work great when it's ran as a system. You can't just put out one sign and expect to get results. You know why people have bandit signs out when you in your neighborhoods, in your communities? You know why? You know why for 50 years they've had signs on street corners? Because they work. It's because they work. But it only works if you do, and it only works if you're consistent, and it only works if we have a call to action and we're consistent at it. And it's the same thing with open houses. So open houses are great when they're done right. When they're done wrong, they're a waste of time. Here's what an open house looks like when it's done right. We have 50 directional signs, not one. We have prizes and giveaways. There's a sign-in process, and we have effective follow-up. So if I'm doing an open house, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use, I say 50 directional signs. I mean, that seems like a lot, but like, listen, I'm putting them everywhere. What we're doing in an open house is we're driving traffic from outside into the neighborhood, into the community. So we're not just going to put a directional sign on one street. We're going to go over to the next street, the next street, the next street, the next street, the busy veins, the veins that have the most traffic. Like I'll go a mile down the road and say open house. Why? Because it's Preston Road in Dallas. The thing has 8,000 cars a second going down it, right? I'm going to go put these signs where the traffic is. So I want you to, when you do an open house, do this. Print out a map of the area and it just on a sheet of paper, and take a pen and put X's on everywhere you're going to put a directional sign, with the goal of driving traffic into the neighborhood, into the house. When they get to the house, we're having everything set up at the front door. Here's why it's set up at the front door. Let's say I set up at the kitchen table. The buyer comes in, they start looking around. They haven't seen you yet because you're in there in the kitchen. Who's in control right there? They are. Right? They are, because now they're in. Now they're looking. You want to capture them before they get in, before they start looking. So set up right at the front door and have a process. Like right here's an example of a sign. It's, that one of my clients used. Sign in, look around, ask questions, fall in love, make an offer, right? But there's a sign-in process, and every buyer has to fill out a sign-in sheet. And I want you to put phone number, email, name, address, and ask for all of it, because they're going to give it all to you, because it's required. They say, I'm not going to fill that out. Well, you can't. I mean, listen, seller requires us to get this information, because they have a lot of personal items, things like that in here. It's for safety, security. Everybody has to check in. So go ahead and fill it out. What are we doing? We're collecting data and we're making it required. And I always blame it on safety, by the way. Safety, security, it gets it off you. It makes sense. By the way, I have friends and clients that run this system that have done hundreds of millions of dollars in sales from open houses alone. And the reason they do this is because they run it as a system. So every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, them or their team is running an open house somewhere. And now they have, a system that a buyer's agent can get into. What does it cost you to run this system? Nothing. So create this system, the open house system, get you a buyer's agent to run the system. You with me? So get them to run it. So if you're bringing in buyer's agents, we need these systems so we can plug them into lead gen, that they can run it. It doesn't have to be you. It can be your team. Here's some examples. You can take a picture of that. Open house signs. These are just some examples of some headlines that you can use to create interest. I'm going to keep trucking. Again, this is it, y'all. It's like all we're trying to do is get butts in seats, get them to call, get them the email. Here's the other real estate agents. I remember when I first started real estate, back when I was broke selling real estate, my first 6 months, I didn't know what to do. I didn't have any listings at the time because I haven't figured it out. But I remember just going knocking on doors in my real estate office. I would just go knock on doors. I would just say, hey, can I hold your house open this weekend? And I would ask my other agents in my office or on my team, in my organization. In this case, you could do it with EXP agents, but being able to use other agents' listings for their open houses, but also agent referrals. Do you know how effective the EXP network is for agent referrals? It's amazing how many referrals get thrown around at EXP. So make sure you're a part of that and let that be a part of your business, being able to leverage other agents to get referrals and build those relationships, but also use it to market their properties. You could form strategic partnerships, leverage other real estate agents to grow your business this year. It's going to help you. It's one of the best ways to do it. And I mean, oftentimes I know some of you, even you get referrals from around the country. I mean, it could equal as much as half of your business comes from people referring you around the country. Track email behavior to know. Here's why we need to track email behavior. We want to see who's engaging. So if I send an email and I'm offering a free list, the best area deals, or I send an email of a new listing that I just took, the first thing I'm going to do is look at who opened it and who clicked it. And then I'm going to call those people. So I would send an email to see who's interested. So whatever you're doing. So if you send an email, I want you to think of who is engaging. You're going to engage the opens and you would form strategic partnerships. But here's the thing. This will give you the people to call. This will give you a way to know who to reach first. And that, remember, the money's in the follow-up. And the follow-up is easy when we know who is already engaging. Next is home builders. Great way to get in relationship with home builders is offer to sit at their model homes. If you don't want to sit at their model homes, then go meet with the home builders, set it up, run it as a system, get your buyer's agent to go out there and sit on Saturday and Sunday at the builder open. So this is a great way to not only generate buyer leads, but it's also a great way to get in relationship with builders. And I know, this is a reciprocal relationship. Builders pay bonuses, at least they used to. In today's market, who knows, if they're paying bonuses out there in your local market, but it's one of the best ways to get in relationship. So it's another system. If we have a relationship, we have a day and time where we're going to be sitting at the open house or the model home, and we're going to run the show for them. Hyper local video content is a great way to generate buyer leads. I told a client one time, he goes, well, Haas, what's a local video content look like? I was like, what are the top 4 neighborhoods that you want to dominate? And he named them. And I said, okay, so you're going to, and over the next 4 weeks, you're going to do a video each week and just go to the entrance. Okay, check this out. Go to the entrance of the neighborhood. Every neighborhood has a sign that says Glen Hollow subdivision, right? Enchanted Oaks. They have an entrance, and it's immediately recognizable from most people in the community. So find those communities, get a video in front of the entrance of the sign, say, hey, this is Brandon. In this video, I'm going to go over, this is the monthly report of Glen Hollow subdivision. And you go through and you say, there's been 17 houses on the market, 17 of them sold. The average price per square foot's this, We have buyers that want to move to this neighborhood. We're looking for sellers. So if you're looking to sell, then, right, we got get used to using hyper local video content. I have another client that does something in the restaurants. What she does, she has a Facebook group. It's her town restaurants. It's like Frisco restaurant group. And that's what she does. It has nothing to do with the real estate, but everybody in there is so engaging and everybody's sharing. So she facilitates this conversation. I love that. And I think if you can create that in your own local market, it's going to give you an advantage and it's going to position you as the expert in your local community. So cover neighborhood stats, available inventory. Do it if you're just listed a house, do a listing showcase, and always have a call to action. Hyper local video content is, by the way, it's the future. I talked to an agent in Vegas did 35 million in sales his first year. I said, how'd you do it? Right here. He did exactly what I'm telling you to do. Lastly is circle calling. Find a neighborhood. Calling that neighborhood is one of the best ways to get results. I know so many agents around the country that do this consistently. And if they do it consistently, they mostly always get tons of results. So circle calling is one of the great ways to be able to find both buyers and sellers in your market. Finding the neighborhood, finding the information, whether it be if it just sold, just listed, but you're looking for buyers. Using the script I gave you at the beginning, right? All indicators point to interest rates changing, market changing. We're looking for buyers. Right now is the time to buy or sell. So here's your action steps as I wrap up here. A little bit over, but we are good. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to pick 4 things to generate, 4 ways to generate buyer leads. So I covered a lot. In fact, I'm going to give you the chat. I'm going to put this in the chat right now as well. This is a handout to the 50 ways to generate buyer leads. So you use it as a little reminder. Where is that? Hold on. Can you put that in there, Matthew? Yeah, I put it at the very front. And as soon as I wrap up here, I'll do it before I send. All right, there we go. So use this. I want you to pick 4 things that you're going to use, that you're going to do to generate buyer leads. You're going to implement this, but you're going to run it as a system. So don't think I'm just going to do it once. If you choose the open house system and you're going to do that, then map it out, plan it out. When are you going to do it? How are you going to do it? And run it as a system. Everything I covered today needs to be ran as a system, meaning it needs to be done and executed consistently. Run it as a system and being consistent. Train your team and execute on this. So if you're running it, train your team. You build it, and then you teach them how to do it. So maybe you go do it first. I think that's the way to do it. You go run it, you do it, you learn it, and then you teach them. But start generating way more buyer leads. It doesn't take a lot to generate a lot. So pick your 4 things, start taking massive action, delegate this as a system, and you'll be able to create more freedom and life in your business. And you won't have to go out there and spend an arm and a leg doing this. This is the best way to run a buyer's agency. It's the best way to get your buyer's agents successful, is having something that you can plug them into. In the absence of having something that you can plug them into, it will not be successful. So with that, y'all, I left you a lot. I know it's a lot. So I hope you enjoyed this today. If you have any questions, you can ask away. You can email me, Haas@haaspratt.com. But I do respect your time. So we do cover an hour and I'm out. So with that, y'all, leave your comments and feedback on the way out, and go out there and take massive action. Take care.